The boys were called edgy. Told they'd never make it past 5 episodes. Well, here those podcast jerks are. Back for season 2. The Boys in the Woods podcast. The show your mother warned you about, and that your dad was hiding in the basement listening to. Get ready for the Boys in the Woods podcast.
Fanatic Sports Gear, proudly endorsed by the Boys in the Woods podcast, where the boys shop for all their jerseys and sports cards.
Look at me, dude.
You?
I'm like, dude, come on, man, turn the show on. I ain't even got my lights on. Eat spit.
If I turn my lights on, see how I got my face fixed?
Oh shit. Yeah.
Remember before my face was glowing like a damn, like the sun? Man, he's, what's wrong with your face? I'm like, I don't know. It just is what it is.
Welcome back. What a wild world. Last you and I were talking, I was on top of the world. My bracket's perfect. I'm the best fucking picker in the world. Forgive me for dropping that so early, but I'm the best picker in the world. Well, the end of day 3.5, I think I went from number 1 to 8 to 5 to 14 to 7. Now I'm like 23rd. And there's no hope. My bracket was gone, dude.
That was North Carolina and NC State literally destroying brackets like left and right. It was insane.
Terrible. Marquette, terrible.
Great for ratings, terrible for brackets.
Yeah, and kudos to those teams. A lot of my frustration that you may or may not think is in the voice has a lot to do with my bracket just being busted. Man, I thought I was so good, dude. I thought I was, I took 20, 30 minutes. I was doing math. I was like, oh, yeah, this is so awesome.
You're looking at the projections where it say this team is 85th in rebounds or
I was
3-point percentage.
Strength of schedule. I was like, okay, so I've got my big 3, right? I was like, I was looking at field goal percentage, averaged with 3-point field goal percentage, right?
The defensive 3-point percentage.
And then I was like points per game and points against per game, and whoever won that battle. And then if it came down to a tie, which more often than not it did, I fell to the strength of schedule. Don't do that ever. Ever again. Don't do that. Oh my God.
And why? Why?
Oh my God.
NC State proved one of the why. Outside of the conference schedule that they played, which is tough. It's the ACC.
Yeah.
They didn't play a very tough non-conference schedule. But guess what? They won like 11 straight games.
Dude, for them to be in the tournament, they had to win 5 games in 5 days. That was the ACC
beat Duke
tournament.
Twice.
Yeah, that was the ACC
to get to the Final Four. They had to beat Duke twice. They beat them in the ACC tournament,
and
they beat them in the Elite Eight.
And now they just beat them in the Elite Eight. Honestly, shout out to NC State men's and women's basketball. Both of them advanced to the
You
Final
know the crazy
Final
thing,
Four
Charles, is that coach.
Crazy.
NC State's coach was on the hot seat. He didn't know if he was even coming back.
Oh my God!
He just took him to the Final Four.
41 years since Jimmy V went on his magical run. Are we talking? Just because we've seen it before doesn't mean it can ever happen again. Trust me, I understand that.
We're watching it happen.
I farted one time, so great. The smell was so awesome that it cut through a 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing at me and hit somebody 15, 20 feet away from me so bad that it took him off the roof. I've farted like that before in my life, so I know it can happen. I've never seen it happen before again. Okay, so throwing that into the mix, maybe this Jimmy V thing was what it was, but you think that would have ended with Duke being the better basketball team.
Right.
But hell, this wasn't David and Goliath. NC State was familiar with Duke. I see you all the time. I'm not afraid of you. I beat your ass already this season. When it mattered, not when it didn't matter. You see a lot of these. Clemson beat Alabama when it didn't matter. NC State is doing these things when it mattered. And I heard today, how do you bet against magic? Right? Well, I'm here to tell you, I ain't no damn muggle. Okay, the golden snitch is back there. I don't know if any of you have ever found it yet, but the golden snitch is back there somewhere on that wall. Regardless. Well done, NC State, boys and girls. Fantastic story. I love it. Best part of the March Madness, because I'm out. Best part of the March Madness.
And we're growing towards two great storylines in both of them, men's and women's.
Indubitably. It's been fantastic to watch. I do want to touch a little bit on Purdue. Well done, Purdue. Tennessee really dropped the ball. I think this was Purdue's bad game, right? I think they were 3 for 13 or 14 or 4 for 15 from 3. One of the best three-pointing, if not the best three-point shooting team in this tournament. And you hold them to just the score at this point got inflated because with 11 minutes and 53 seconds left in the second half, Tennessee had 8 fouls. Now, this is significant because somehow or another, there was a media timeout, and Tennessee's head coach went over to the entire referee staff, and then boom, we went to commercial. Unpause. Tennessee then goes almost 11 minutes without committing a foul. Bro, how do you commit 8 fucking fouls inside the first 4 minutes? And you were just as bad in the first half. You were terrible in the first half, just as many fouls. But then magically, for almost an 11-minute run, which is the only thing that kept the game close, that and Purdue missing its shots. Purdue did not play its best game and beat Tennessee with old boy going for almost 38 or something like that. I'm seriously questioning how a team out of a media timeout goes from 8 fouls in 4 minutes to not committing a single foul again for 11. What do you think would be the explanation for that?
I have no idea.
It was so weird.
I thought
Purdue ended up winning.
they committed a shit ton. They had 26 fouls. Tennessee did.
They had 8 in the first 4 minutes of the second half and did not commit the 9th foul until 4-ish minutes left in the second half.
I think you're talking about Purdue because Tennessee had 26
No,
fouls.
dude, I know
Purdue only had 12.
Yes, dude, I'm telling you, there was an 11-minute stretch where all of a sudden Tennessee didn't commit a single foul in the middle of the second half. From like 11:26 or 11:59 to 4:51 or 4:36.
Well,
and then the foul was questionable. And the dude looked at the bench. Bro, the dude looked at the bench and went, what the fuck?
Well,
I thought they weren't calling fouls. And then ran down the court. And then the fouls started to unfold after that again.
Here's the issue with that. Because Purdue still ended up shooting 33 free throws. I'm sorry. I don't care what the fuck team it is. That NBA teams don't even shoot 33. You can't teach a team that, it's contact, so they're going to go to the foul line all the time. This happens with Purdue. They get bailed out all the fucking time. Same thing with Iowa women.
Well,
people are bitching and complaining about this. It's not fair. Is why people are
watching
mad.
The game, dude. There are multiple clips where Zach is punched in the face going up for a layup. Karate chop, dude, and no foul called. Because I don't know if they're foul fatigue, but Zach is such...
You can't call everything. That's the problem.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. It was so weird seeing that happen. Not a single foul against Tennessee nor Purdue. It was actually a clean 11 minutes, but it wasn't a clean 11 minutes, right? Like they just stopped calling the fouls and then magically started calling them again inside 5 minutes of the game. Why did you call all them in the first 4 minutes, not a single one in the next 10, and then magically again in the next 4?
Well, if you want to speculate, it's probably something to do with curbing the freaking score.
The moment it started happening, dude, it was immediate out of that media timeout. It wasn't like they were ghost fouls, dude. It was just so befuddling. And it's not like I didn't notice it.
Almost in every single play if you really wanted.
That's what I mean. It's not like I was like, 3 minutes they didn't call a foul. 4 minutes they didn't call a foul. Like I came back and I'm like, how are they still at 8 fouls? At one point, dude, they just turned Tennessee's shit right off and just showed Purdue as bonus. Like, you couldn't even see how many fouls. You had to keep track of yourself after that point.
Yeah.
And they made it back to 13. So they had, what'd you say? They had 26 total?
Yeah, 26
So they had
fouls.
13 in the first half and 13 in the second half.
So here's a good thing to look up.
Yeah.
What's all right? Well, I believe, and they play NC State, correct?
Yeah.
NC State, I believe, is one of the teams that doesn't foul a shit ton. So if they end up getting, because they.
But what did Tennessee ended up doing too? I just think it's the Zach effect. I think it's the Edey effect, bro.
I don't know. They lost.
I didn't watch a lot of Purdue basketball this season. Now that I'm watching the March Madness tournament, man, I think it's going to come down to Purdue and UConn, and I don't think it's going to be one's going to beat the other. I don't know.
UConn does not fall behind. UConn's got 6 guys that can handle the rock. Purdue's got 1. That's the problem. You get guys in front. UConn can drive to the basket. UConn don't.
It's like last year's Iowa LSU championship matchup. It's
UConn's
like
yet to be tested.
But I do think it's going to come down to who beats themselves. Who's going to hurt themselves? Hey, perfect. We'll get him right in on this conversation.
I don't know if Mike's coming or not.
Where'd you go? Where is he?
Well, we've got our thing. We don't have our.
Oh, we've got to get the 4-person in here. Can we do this?
You got to do that.
Hey!
I don't know if Mike's coming or not.
That's okay. Yeah. We'll get you caught up here in a second. Our buddy Mike, he's very close to the end of his school journey. And we wish him the absolute very best. We've all been helping him as much as we can, but that is what Mike's been doing the last few weekends, is wrapping up his major projects.
He graduates June 7th.
June 7th. Yes. We're very excited for him. What the conversation we were just talking about, and we'll get you in on this, Purdue versus Tennessee. We just talked about how Purdue shit the bed and Tennessee couldn't fit the bill. And we were exasperating on the penalty situation, or the foul situation, I'm sorry. So within 4 minutes of the second half, Tennessee had 8 fouls already. And then a media timeout happened, and they went 11 straight minutes without a penalty or a foul. And then inside 5 minutes, they started calling fouls again, and Tennessee made it to the number 13, which is the same number they had in the first half. How do you go 8 fouls in 5 minutes, media timeout, and then not a single penalty or foul? Goddamn hockey. Not a single foul is called in 11 minutes, and then a media timeout, and boom, you're calling penalties.
Here's the thing.
Either side didn't catch a foul?
Not one, dude.
Yeah, but the problem is if both coaches brought it to the officials' attention and said, hey, call the game fair, they're just not going to call anything.
But why shut it down? In a sense,
because it looks really bad if you keep calling them. That's why.
Right, but I'm saying, why shut it down for 11 minutes? But
right.
Why shut it down foul calling for 11 minutes, and in the last 5 minutes, all of a sudden, it's a free fall for fouls? Like, how does that?
Because they're trying to curb the
in
score.
A regular mind sense, this is the thing. In a regular person that doesn't involve themselves to the details to be like, this is weird. But for people that like us, that are constantly watching stuff like this, you're like, this shit is rigged.
It looks that way.
Dude, it immediately.
It looks rigged.
Oh, yeah.
Purdue had 3 fouls, and Tennessee had 8 going into that media timeout. And Purdue was up 8 and climbing, dude. Going away with the game. And then magically, the penalties stopped. Tennessee came back. Super close game. Inside 5 minutes, the free throws come back. Purdue wins. I'm not saying that Purdue's bailed out in this situation, but the only reason the game was close was because the fouls were stopped being called for some crazy reason. That's was super suspicious.
That's a little suspect.
And y'all listeners out there, check my math.
Might not see it like that. A regular person might not see it like that. But for people like us, listen, we don't get paid for this shit. But at the end of the day, we're watching this stuff. We're seeing something that just even looks like an inkling of a suspicion factor or something in my guts not feeling right about what's happened in the last 11 minutes.
I thought that they were going to have, 20 fouls before the 4 to 5 minute media timeout.
Especially if you the whole game that way. Why
13 in the first half, 8 going into the 5 minutes into the second half. They're at 20, 21 out of, and then all of it with 11 minutes and 29 seconds, they're at 21 fouls. And the rest of the game, they only make 6 fouls. 12 minutes left. They only make 6 more fouls.
I didn't get to see. I got to see the last two minutes of the game. But yeah, to make it a game, let's just say it. Let's just be honest. To make it a game,
I would love to hear.
But you're making it interesting for what though?
For what? Gambling? Not for the kids on the court.
Well, you
definitely
not.
Definitely. These kids are not gonna chip.
Kids are betting candy on the game. Come on,
dude.
But there's definitely, you have to, seeing it from that angle, the only thing you can think of is there had to be a way to make this tight, and how do we get the best type of money out of it? And doing something like that, especially already at the level of the tournament where they're at right now, you have to make it interesting.
Yeah.
But it's so make it so fucking obvious.
They don't want people to turn the channel. They don't want a shitty game. They don't want a blowout. So they want to.
You're making it way too obvious.
I mean,
Boys in the Woods merchandise. Get yourself some Boys Podcast swag here at boysinthewoods906.shop.
Dude, with 11 minutes and either 29 or 51 seconds left, Tennessee was at 21 fouls.
What's the biggest lead that you watched Purdue have?
With 26. They were at 8. It was at that media timeout that they had their 8-point lead. And Tennessee in the first half had an 11-point lead. So there was that swing coming out of that second half. It was, dude, the game was over. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't. And it wasn't because Tennessee was shooting the fucking lights out. They had one dude scored like 35, and the rest of the team
35,
38.
Yeah.
The rest of the team scored 27,
26 or something like that. 25.
It was like
I'm with you on that, Charles.
Well, it was
Purdue's the same way.
It was
Purdue
Purdue
was the same way. Yeah, but Purdue ended the guys who usually make shots. This is what I'm saying. Purdue was like 3 for 14. They were doing so bad on the 3, they stopped shooting it and just went to Zach. Great coaching, finally, right? Finally, you made the right move. But then in that last 2 minutes in clutch time, the last couple threes that Purdue even had came in that clutch time. They weren't in the first 37 minutes of the game.
The problem for Purdue coming up, nobody attacks the basket quite like NC State does.
Yeah.
They attack the shit out of the basket. They don't settle for threes all the time.
Yeah. Well, I guess Purdue, Big Ten, the way I'm looking at it, you've got to stop Purdue. Purdue doesn't have to beat you. I've been watching the whole tournament. UConn's been doing really cool things, but Purdue is like a boa constrictor. And the last boa constrictor I watched won a national championship.
He probably should have watched his mouth, though, in the post-game press conference when he dropped the F-bomb, because he could have got suspended for that.
Who? Purdue?
Zach Edey.
Oh, Zach did?
Yeah.
Was he talking about getting his ass kicked?
No, he said we're fucking ballers. It's all we fucking win or something like that.
Yeah.
And they did not know that was coming. That lady did not know it was coming. She was like, what?
Dude, I'm telling you, watching his face when he's at the free throw line, other players, especially watching NBA and whatnot in college all of our lives, right? They're looking around. They're doing something.
He's playing himself, not into a lottery pick.
Was like a cyborg, bro.
Yeah.
He was like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I'm terrible at it right now. But
he's turning himself into a first-round pick. Not a lottery pick, but he'll be a first-round pick.
Dude, I'm telling you, his eyes only left the rim once, and it was to grab the ball from the ref, and then it, boom, and it was just lasers. He's 71, 72% for that. I mean, well done.
Yeah, he's not a hack-a-shack type guy. He's not the guy you want to be following at the end of the game.
Tennessee found out.
A lot of teams, the only time that Purdue, there's a weird stat with Purdue. I think they've won 25 out of their 32 wins or something. They've shot over 25 free throws. Keep them off the free throw line, you beat them. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Though, because I don't see a person on the court that has the ability to stand with Zach. And the thing that happens that wasn't happening in Tennessee, but it has happened consistently outside of this Tennessee game is that when you drop in to double Zach, he's just as willing to pass it out. It's like watching Jokic on the court, to be honest with you. He'd rather pass it than shoot, but he has to shoot.
One thing NC State does, they got that big number 30, though. He can push Zach around.
We'll see.
He's 6'9", like 300 bones, man. He can move the brother.
We'll see.
He can move him out of the way.
We'll see. Yeah, because those people on Tennessee were trying it. And the one dude had, I felt so bad, dude. He had 4 fouls. He got sat in the 5 minutes into the first half or something, right? Came out with, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes left in the second half. No, I'm sorry. He sat that whole time they were on the bench, media timeout. He comes in inside 5 minutes, dude. I'm telling you, he was on that court for 5 seconds and boom, a foul. And he's got 5 fouls and he's got to go back to the bench. He was out there for 5 seconds. I promise you. And then the fouls started happening again.
You want me to get you their roster and I'm going to show you the biggest guy on their team. They got a lot of 6'10" guys. There's 4 of them.
Yeah, that won't work.
Yeah. Diarra.
Yeah, what's he?
6'10".
Yeah, that won't work. You got to have a 6'11" to 7-footer, and I'm talking 230 to 235. 230 to 250.
Let's see here.
And you got to be able to block a hook shot. Good luck. He's money inside that little 4-foot zone with that just laser beam hook. He's money.
Ooh, this is gonna be good. UConn's got a 7'2.5" guy.
Ooh.
Their center. Ooh, that's gonna be a big matchup there.
I think you might call it though, saying UConn
7'2", 280.
Unbeatable team. Looking at the stat, the preview between both matchups, I'm like, even though UConn doesn't have a high leading score, their overall basketball,
their whole team averages double figures.
That's still scary. And then the fact that you can move the ball around like that and have people that are athletic like UConn is, I'm like,
well, here's that big guy stats.
NC State might be the only competition, maybe.
That's NC State would have a really good chance to beat Purdue, but I don't think they have a chance to beat UConn. And I think that
what Alabama's playing in their first Final Four might be interesting against UConn, just for the dynamic of experience and just sheer. Even though they're a 4th seed, you're not expecting Alabama to be this big for a basketball team. It's not their thing. But to see them make the plays that they're making, I'm like, how is that going to pan out versus a team like UConn?
Well, UConn won it while these guys got
that's what I'm saying.
Time.
So they got the experience.
But the experience also comes with history.
Yes.
And which is an interesting conversation. Why do you think they're back-to-back March Madness champion in what? Over a decade?
The transfer portal.
Not even just this one and done deal. It messes up schools. Kentucky is a perfect example of the one and done deal. You can't yes, you can get those 4 or 5-star recruits. That's great. But it's like you're always having to reteach every single year. That's why these mid-major teams stay good for so long, because their players stay there for 2-3 years, because they're trying to up their track stock. They're trying to get their names out there, and they have to stay in these mid-major conferences because they can't go to these powerhouse schools like Kentucky and Duke and stuff like that. And
but now you can transfer for NIL money.
Right.
And it's the quality of the NBA draft has dropped also, in my opinion.
That's why all the European players are getting drafted.
And that's why the Europeans right now are playing better basketball.
Because they're playing until they're 20 years old, coming to the NBA with 3-4 years of professional experience.
And they've been pros since 15 years old, playing in pro leagues internationally. So they've been getting adapted to this professional style basketball since they were early teenagers. So by the time they're eligible to get drafted into the NBA, they got 4 or 5 years of playing with grown-ass men already under their belt.
Well, American sports really realize we just broke the greatest farm system in the world. NIL broke the greatest farm system in the world. Between NIL and it's the greatest athlete farm system in the world. Everyone in there fought hard to be recognized. Now you don't have to fight so hard to be recognized. And you don't have to stay to earn recognition. You just have to get there. 6th man of the year is making
show up
six figures. All you got to do is play 12 minutes. You ain't working that hard. I'm making $60,000 a year to go play at this school. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go play 2 minutes a fucking game in the NBA. I'm going to make millions.
Be like the 10th or 8th person on the bench and still getting $500,000 a year at a minimum, sometimes even $1.2 million at some point, just by sitting on the bench.
The epitome is the Alabama guy. The guy that went from Alabama to Iowa, that Iowa Hawkeye Elkin collective, collected all this money, and this offensive lineman that came there was like a 5-star offensive lineman, pretty much a no-brainer draft pick. He's going to Iowa, who like just breeds freaking O-linemen, and he went there for the NIL money. And then he realized, oh man, crap, we're gonna be crappy next year. We're not gonna win 12 games. We're not gonna make the playoff. So he switched back over. But guess what? He doesn't have to give that money back. It's not, oh, here, I need the money back. No, that's his. Yeah. And he went back to Alabama.
It's about him. It's not about schooling. It's your name, image, and life. It's not nothing to do with what school's on the front of your jersey.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And again, not to sway too far, not for the fans or listeners to think that we don't want the players to be getting paid. Obviously, if the big wigs are making all of this money, the money needs to be distributed. But here's the kicker, right? If you got $30 million sitting at home, what does losing a game mean to you, honestly? And we'll go around the room here first. Patrick, if you had $30 million sitting in the bank, what would losing a game mean to you?
Nothing, because
you don't get the most important game in the world.
The only thing it would matter, draft stock. I guess your performance. That's the only thing that matters. Personally, you care about what you did. You don't care about $30 million in the bank.
Yeah.
PR.
So for me, I'm the same. It's not going to mean anything. The only thing that it would mean to me is I need to make sure that I'm performing to my, especially if I'm in college, I'm performing to the best of my ability. So I know that when I make that transition to the pros, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, whatever the sport is, that I'm getting to the highest draft stock available for my name based off of my skills.
Prime example, Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not, if I lose in college, if I lose the bowl game, I'm not losing sleep because, like you said, I got $30 million in the bank.
You got $38 million. What if you lose the Super Bowl?
Again, I got $30 million in the bank, and I'm still on contract.
Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. He didn't give a shit when they lost.
So here's the carpet I just laid. Why are we sending millionaires to the Olympics? They don't care anymore. We're losing in the Olympics because these people don't care if they lose. If we held athlete tryouts for America, there are American athletes around this country who don't get paid the money these people on TV get paid that I've seen do out of this world amazing things. They would care.
I don't have an answer. Because at the end of the day, I think we, like, yes, other countries, like the example that you brought up with the Olympics and etc. It comes to the basketball portion of it. Yes.
Is it culturally we just don't care?
They have NBA players that are in the NBA. They don't have the stacked roster like we ultimately can put out there and be dominant every single Olympics. Because there's just no way. Right? However, like you said, the all-stars that are like top tier don't always want to participate in the Olympics. So we're not putting out the best products out there every Olympics. You know what I'm saying?
And now add this to it. Let's continue NBA Olympics. The NBA happens, and now you're in the off season. And now the Olympics are occurring. Do you know what's about to happen just a couple of months down the road? A $500,000 tournament that means more than the Olympics. I'm not going to play too hard in that Olympic match. I don't want to get hurt. I want a chance at that in-season tournament just a few days into the NBA season where I'm going to make $500,000. So I would love to ask the listeners out there too, why are we sending millionaires to the Olympics? They've shown us over the last decade they don't care. This is America. This isn't the media. Something needs to figure itself out.
We've sent college kids before, and they don't do any better.
God, the best story in the world right now. First story, top of your head, Olympics, go.
What would be the
Miracle
best
on
one?
Ice. Who was a part of the Miracle on Ice? College kids.
Yeah,
College
kids. One time that happened.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I don't know if I would say that it can't be done then. A bunch of college kids can't be done.
Well, not even college kids. You've got to hold national tryouts.
However, I feel like there has to be some evaluation on who. You can't just say, "Hey, we're going to go get LeBron." That's cool for this year. But moving forward, because some of these players that are going to be on the team this year are not going to be there 4 years from now. So what are we doing to trade for the next?
I see a third-round exit for this team.
And again, this team is a mixture of good, old, and young. It's a very diverse. The last time I seen something like this is one, they had the redeem team for those Olympics, and they dominated because you had Kobe leading this young crowd. So are you expecting LeBron to be the Kobe this time around? Because of what happened the last 2 years with the roster that they had, we barely moved the needle with the young talent that we were playing against international.
Just let the rookies and sophomores play like they do in the NBA All-Star game. Those guys have competed pretty well.
I seriously think we need to open up some NTCs, some damn national training centers, some ONTCs, some Olympic national training centers.
I hate to be this guy. A lot of them street ballers are probably not going to pass a drug test for the Olympic.
Listen, I don't. Okay.
I'm being honest. A lot of them guys are out there not giving a fuck anyway.
I tell you what,
they give a shit about.
I tell you what,
they're trying to get their money how they can get their money.
We don't know, because I tell you what, if you had a chance at the Olympics, and you were good enough to go to the Olympics and put on that show.
So
listen. Who are those weirdos down in Brazil that did all that effed up shit? And listen, I love Michael Phelps.
I don't know. There's a reason why street ballers and them guys aren't in the NBA, though. They can't compete.
And it's a little, what kind of discipline, again, are you able to translate that discipline to the NBA? Yes. I'm not saying that they don't have the skill set to be in the pros, but at the same time, you have the mentality to transition your skills to make it to the pro league. Because the last person that we saw that was a street baller decades ago was Skip to My Lou from Fear Austin. He's the last street baller that actually was in the league for.
Well, actually, I think Mac McClung is actually a street baller. Mac McClung's actually a street baller. He was viral before he went to college.
I know that, but I'm like, Skip to My Lou, he was literally on the N1 tour for a while before he went over to the NBA and actually was on starting. He was part of the team of the Orlando Magic when they went to the loss to Kobe in the Lakers. So it's not like they can't play.
But here's the problem: they can't play in the structure. All of the rules change when you go to play European League. They don't have you can't do this pass above the hip and all that stuff. The ball can't bounce up here and go to a guy. They get called for double dribbles and everything. The rules are way different.
It's way more skill intensive.
Do you remember when LeBron got called for that travel? I think they were playing Lithuania or some team, and LeBron literally looked at him and goes, "We do this shit every day," and they're like, "Exactly."
Because even in international travel, I think they might have just changed it, but I think they didn't have a 3-second defensive. Like you could be in the paint. There was goaltending. You could. There was. It's different international than it is in the NBA. So
even the way they do their Euro step is different.
Protect yourself and your PC with NordVPN. Proudly protecting the Boys in the Woods podcast from haters since 2023.
So you're going to take a street baller that barely plays with any of the rules legitimately, and you're going to put them in an international set and expect them to adjust that fast.
The reason why we struggle, you can agree with me, is that because these other teams, they bring their best and they play with each other outside of for years together. That's the problem. You can't just throw NBA players
for the best basketball players in the world.
Yeah, you can look at when they make super teams, those teams struggle. Look at the Bucks right now. How long has it taken them with Lillard?
Wow, that dude takes more personal days than he does.
Or even the Clippers. They've been having a super team.
He's old too, though.
How many championships have they had super teams?
Lillard's been in the league like 11 years. He's not young.
They've They've been stacking the Clippers since Kawhi Leonard's got there, and have
so
barely to the West.
we're basically up shit creek without a paddle, more or less.
Yeah,
we're gonna send the foo-foo.
We're gonna send the B League every time, and it's gonna be what it is.
That is the absolute worst American answer I've ever heard in my life. Fuck that.
Why? The
These
problem
guys
is
don't want to play.
You can try to change the narrative all you want, but this is the world. This is the world that we live in right now.
I would rather lose with people with heart than.
Oh, so would I. But I'm just saying we don't. The people in this country don't care. You know.
I'm not saying that.
I would be perfectly fine with sending people like Marcus Smart, the gritty type players that love the game.
Yeah, give me that. Give me Caruso.
People like that. Give me the grit people. But even with those professional athletes, the pros that are in international right now, they, like Patrick said, they've been playing pro ball for years, not just with their team ball. They've been doing.
Then why are they getting their ass kicked? Is European basketball better than the NBA?
No, it's not.
Are the European players better than the NBA players?
I'm like, let's just put it this way. I'm not saying the international play is better, because at the end of the day, there's 455 people in the NBA from the top,
but
the starting
come on,
five,
Paul, let's
all the
do
way
it.
down.
But
name
five.
That's exactly where I was going.
Name five international players, and they're some of the best in the league. Luka,
the only ones that I can think of is Luka, Giannis, Joker. If you want to throw shade, he's Canadian. Wemby, even though he's a rookie, so it's out of 455.
Kuminga for Golden State.
But I'm just saying, is he better than LeBron?
Well, who's reffing?
Well, the problem is LeBron's only good for about 28 minutes a game.
So I'm saying, but even Kawhi Leonard healthy, he can still hang with some of these. It's just there's not a very long list of top international players. Is there more international players this decade than there has been probably in decades or the existence?
A little bit closer for sure.
But there's not a lot of top 10. You can't give me a top 10 international players that where if you go look up BHA rating, they're above 90.
Well, Charles said it. We know what the problem is. Their give a fuck is busted. It's broken. Completely broken.
So the only way to fix that is to not let them go, regardless.
Or to find a different give a fuck. Like you said, find a different route.
Give them a different why
to the people. Yeah,
you have to. Yeah. Listen, you don't go because you don't care. That's the bottom line. You can bitch on Twitter all you want. You don't go because you don't care. It's the Olympics.
And this is the thing. You saying that you don't want to go because you don't want to feel embarrassed for losing. I don't want that attitude.
Absolutely not.
I don't need that. You're only going because you want to make sure that USA doesn't get their name funded.
And you know what? If you say that shit, your name is automatically put on a block list. You're never going.
I don't need that. Listen, even if we do lose, I don't want to go out and we put out the best product that we could. But I don't want to send the best teams out there, the best players out there to suit up for USA, and I'm still getting mediocre play. You guys are supposed to be the cream of the crop every single Olympics. There's nobody that should be carrying basketball to USA. Nobody at all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's the fact that we struggle the in between Olympics, be the World Cups and the World Championships and all that stuff, and we're struggling just to make it to the medal round. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be that way. We have the top talent in the world, apparently, right? That's what they say. The NBA holds the top talent of the world.
All right, Mike, you want to get into some top news now? All right. Well, we brought this up in the chat. Dallas is still looking for Rashee Rice.
That man is an idiot.
That
man is an idiot.
Clearly, yes.
Let me lay down a little foundation for everyone.
All right, Charles, lay it out for us.
Okay, so the individual's vehicle, Mr. Rice's vehicle, whether it was his or leased to him, was involved in a 4-car accident. And while the investigation is still ongoing, there's not a lot of details. But from what we understand, boys in the woods.
There's the mug.
But from what we understand, we got to give that away too, don't we? Yes, we do.
Sure, we can wait.
Yeah. But anywho, so his car caused the majority of and or the fatality, if not, of this accident. Well, this all happened, and now he's gone. So Pat and I were talking earlier, and we're thinking to ourselves, if it was a drunk driving, at worst you're going to get a couple games suspension. It's the NFL, and you're a good rookie. Like you're going to get
bigger
the
than
slap
that.
on
Just
the
man
wrist.
up. Yeah.
So why would you run? What did you have in the car?
Now you make it work.
Did you have drugs in your system?
Something had that happen. He had to have been on something. Because there's just, why would you run? Who are you running from?
Who were you running from?
What are you hiding? And then
that's the other thing.
It's already a hit and run. So you
There's no way his phone records aren't being subpoenaed in court to say, who did you call? Who did you text for a ride? Where were you? Right. We're in a GPS location where
and
you
then
were.
Whoever picked him up is now
whoever picked him up is absolutely screwed, especially if they actually try to arrest him. And then this becomes a fleeing and a
what is it?
Aiding and abetting. Charles, you know what it is. Yeah. Aiding and abetting.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Aiding and abetting a
fugitive or something.
Known fugitive. Here's the thing. I'm going to give him an excuse, right?
Sure. Let's say, throw one out there.
Let's say it's the off
devil's
season.
Advocate that you are.
It's the off season.
Just let him roll
I
with
just won a goddamn Super Bowl. I'm gonna go out and have me a really nice time. I got fuck you money, so that means I'm driving wherever I go, cause I got fuck you money. You want to pull me over? Fuck you. It don't matter. I got fuck you money.
Are you gonna tell us that Kelsey picked him up?
Whoa! What are you doing over here, man? I can't be smoking that shit. I'm a Super Bowl. I'm a Super Bowl champion, and now I'm just token, bro. I'm loving life.
Just a little weed. That's all it is. Just a little weed.
I gotta go. It's a fucking somebody who may or may not be calling me is now on the phone. Oh man, let me drive. Oh fuck, I'm in an accident. Oh shit. Oh, I can't have drugs. If this was just a drunk driving, the NFL would only give me a couple games. But if I got drugs, I'm fucked. I know. I'm an athlete. I'm going to hide for 10 days and I'm going to flush my system. And then I'm going to come out and go, oh, I was so fucked up and confused from the accident. I hit my head. I got a head injury. I don't know where I was and I woke up in Kentucky.
How the fuck did you get in Kentucky?
Now I don't know. The last 10 days are a blackout. The accident was so fucked up.
Oh, let's go around the horn. Who picked him up? Was it Patrick Mahomes?
I
don't know who picked me up. I'm all blacked out.
Chris Jones picked him up. Who's his boy on the team? Who do you think is his boy on the team?
John Morant's best friend. He was in John Morant's area. Who's John Morant's best friend? Who is that? No?
Tony picked him up.
Oh, probably one of his boys from SMU. From Dallas.
Okay, honestly, listen.
Oh, he was in Dallas. Who's in Dallas? It would be
100. Any Chiefs fan would have picked him up. Any Chiefs fan would have picked him up and just, where you got to go, bro? And then seen it on the radio and went, oh, hell no, I didn't do that.
You ain't ever seen me before. Drop him off at the corner.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
If Jordan Love was walking down the street, would you not pick him up?
I was just about to ask you that.
I would pick him up in a heartbeat. And then if I saw it on the news, I'd be like,
he was all bloody and beaten and talking nonsense, then I'd be like, yeah, bro, we need to get you to a hospital. I need you on my fantasy team next year. We need you 100.
Oh, no, man, I can't go to a hospital. I got my boy. I got my doctor.
All right, well, I'm going to drop you off right here. You have him pick you up. Adios.
You going to be safe? I need you next year. Are you going to be safe? All right, dog. Be safe.
There's just too much going on. I'm like, you're just coming off your what? Since we're last year, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was like Yak Champ. He was Yak Champ.
So I'm like, you're in your rookie year. You're literally set up a team to succeed for years to go. And you do something stupid like this, your career's over.
That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to come out of. I wanted to get ahead of the curve. I promise. He's going to come out of this. I was blacked out. I got concussion and fucking.
The NFL don't drop the hammer on him. This is going to be the most fucked up scenario I've ever seen in my life. There ain't no fucking way a professional athlete gets involved in a multiple car accident, disappears, then I'm just going to be a
I get that the investigation is ongoing. But the fact that this dude hasn't even reached out to like the team or is a friend, is he okay?
Like, there's no
I was just gonna say,
don't even know if
I was
he's
just gonna say,
okay.
maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. Maybe he caused that accident because he seen something he wasn't supposed to see, and then he got chased down because he's in Dallas. He's at the Mafia's there, probably.
Dallas don't fuck around. Dallas don't fuck around.
Maybe MS-13's pretty fucking close to that border there.
We're really pushing this conspiracy theory.
I'm just saying, maybe.
Is anybody gonna pick this up? Anybody else want to get in on this one?
Maybe that's why nobody knows where there is, because it's not like there's CCTV footage all along fucking Dallas. It's not like there's all them video cameras.
By somebody?
Bro, I think he's in Brazil right now. I think he's in Brazil. He got fucked on a coke deal or something.
Oh man.
Or maybe he seen something he wasn't supposed to see. We'll go with maybe he seen something he wasn't supposed to see.
Yeah.
Was he with somebody he wasn't supposed to be? The guy caught up
either he was either with somebody he wasn't supposed to be with or something he wasn't supposed to be with.
Bro, maybe this is a Doug situation and they fucked him up for Black Doug. Maybe they thought this was his Black Dog. The Hangover.
Doug.
All jokes aside, seriously, where is this guy?
Conspiratorial nonsense. That's what this is called.
So there's three perfect explanations. He's doing a cleanse right now. We'll see him in about 3 or 4 days, and he's going to come out with the concussion story.
Are you talking about he's going to go do the ayahuasca so he can remember the whole story? He's going to put himself in one of them boxes like
maybe
A-Rod
he's in
put
a
himself
dark
in.
retreat in Brazil, and his cousin was driving that car.
That was ayahuasca. And he's gonna come back even better, like A-Rod came back out of the dark retreat.
Oh, he's gonna get off the plane and be like, "No, it's my damn glass."
No, we're good.
No Spanish.
No hablo English. No. He just fucking did it. Yep, he's gone.
Because I was just in an accident. That's what I'm saying. My head's all fucked up.
Dude, when this all comes to light and any of this comes out to be true, we're gonna claim it. 100%. We're just gonna cut all the from it.
This is a scenario.
What do you believe?
He got kidnapped.
Okay, all right.
He been kidnapped. 2, he had somebody he shouldn't have been around with and got caught up in some shit, and he got kidnapped or killed because of the dude that was in the car. Or 3, was mixed in himself with some shit that he shouldn't have been, and I'm like, you're missing. At this point, they gotta put a missing sport on.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows where you are.
Yeah. This is not like the Sutton. This is not like the Sutton scenario where the Detroit Lions organization went up to the guy and went, "Yo, dude, there's a warrant for your arrest in Florida. What's about this?"
They don't know where you are.
Watch there be a damn, like you said, a missing person case, and then all of a sudden he's kidnapped and they're looking for money, and then here we are, and then Paul's I fucking told you, there he is, he's missing. He literally could have gotten in an accident, like you said. They called their boys, come get us. They recognized who he was. He caused the accident, like you said, and then they snatched him. That is entirely possible. It is Dallas, like you said.
Again, nobody literally, there's no been reports, no tweets, no nothing of where he possibly, they're literally saying
they're pinging his phone for sure.
Yeah. And again, too, and I would love to stress, this is not like the Sutton situation where the Detroit Lions watched the dude walk out the building, get in his car, drive away, and nobody knows where he went since.
No, they're just trying to piece this one together. They're trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Play So Rare Fantasy Football, NBA, MLB with tradable player, customizable fantasy sports picks of your favorite MLB, soccer, and NBA players with purchasable NFTs.
Was with somebody or somebody not, and now is gone.
Accident and nowhere to be found in the accident.
It's crazy that they haven't talked to any. Well, maybe there's got to be witnesses if there was a four vehicle accident.
But again, it's the other people involved in the accident. What information are they coming for? What pieces are missing? Like what?
All we know is that he's missing. That's all we know.
And that falls along
that's it.
And this falls along the lines of the investigation is still ongoing, so we won't know those details. Now, now if this is a suable scenario, we won't hear things for
you won't hear names or anything, yeah.
Because if I can sue your ass, I'm not going on social media and saying nothing, because that will then
It ruins my case.
It
ruins my
Right
entire case. It ruins my entire case. Because not only have I made this public, good luck finding a jury, right? And now there's so much that can come with that. So these people
not to compare it, but it's like when I got a lawyer, I was getting divorced from my ex-wife. My lawyer told me, listen, you can talk to your soon-to-be ex-wife about anything except what has to do with divorce, his custody of his child. If she has questions, she can talk to me. You don't say shit about this case because you're paying me to talk to you. So it's like, I'm pretty sure, but even then it's like, it goes back to circle back. Where the fuck is he?
Yeah, and this is an ongoing investigation.
At this point, so we're not going to get the details of what happened, what we found, all that jazz again, because they're still trying to piece it all together. But the fact that we don't even have, the fact when people say there's a possibility it might be here, we don't even have that going around. We just don't.
The only thing that'll happen is if he does show up. If he shows up, he's so high profile, we'll know that he's at least in custody or he's being talked to the police. Yeah. And that's crazy that we have no idea. Like, he's literally missing.
The only reason you have no idea is because they own. There is way too much technology in America to not be seen in this week-long, 4-day, even in the situation, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, that's why it's weird.
So now, assumptions here on the negative side. If it was something along these lines and it was that bad, I do already have enough money and there will be enough time in between for me to get that money and the border is close enough that I'm going to have a real nice life on a beach somewhere in Mexico building boats, don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's another possibility. But the problem is that they can extradite you out of Mexico and all these other countries. So if they do find you, you're fucked.
Yeah, well, they haven't found me yet. So
no, I'm just saying.
I know.
If you're a criminal out there, you're listening to the podcast.
I was just recently watching. Don't tell them that. Yeah, let Darwin take care of Darwin.
You guys just keep living that life, but shame on you.
Stay over there.
Yeah, let Darwin take care of Darwin.
Over there. Talk to our buddy Ryan.
From the sounds of it, not a lot of people are going the other way, so that had to be suspicious also. When you're talking about the border.
How far is Dallas? Paul, how far is Dallas from?
Dallas from where?
Well, from the border. How far is Charles thinking he's got to go?
10 hours? 6 to 10 hours?
2.5 hours for me.
By boat, it's probably way easier.
So I would say about 8 to 10 hours if you don't.
So he's got to drive.
You're gonna have to stop for gas and more, but you're gonna have to be paying cash. You're not gonna use the credit card.
Well, you know damn well they're looking for him, though. That's the thing.
So you're probably taking back roads and shit like that. But I would say about 8 to 10 hours.
This is the weird thing to me. I know there's CCTV footage. I know there is.
How did you not see where he went?
I know you could.
You're telling me there's nobody.
Nobody saw it. Yeah.
Saw this?
Which leads me to feel stronger about the cartel stole Mr. Rice, and we need to get Rice back. The cartel have taken him. They knew exactly where to cause that accident. It was a blind spot in the CCTV footage. They knew how to get him out of there. I'm telling you.
CD, you got to know some people, number 7. Help them. You in Dallas. Help your boy Rashid.
Micah Parsons?
Is this Kill Mama on a Train all over again? What's happening out there?
Jerry World. Find him.
This scenario is very off-putting. This is the blatant.
It is. Well, we have another scenario that's very off-putting. Charles, want to get into the old LSU story before we close out?
Yeah, we'll close out this. And I was reading up on it a little bit, and it's a milky situation. For one, there's an interview on YouTube with the individual who wrote the article, and it's really good. Go if y'all out there want to, go ahead and listen to it. But the basis of it is, right, the people that did talk had things to say, and the ones that could have collaborated or finished chose not to say anything. And that could speak volumes on the loyalty Kim keeps in her circle. But from the sounds of it, a lot of this speculation wasn't too far off. I think it was more of a perspective. I think it was perspectives of the individuals, and some of these people who were talking in that story had a poison with Kim, right?
It was definitely an opinion piece, but it was based off of other people's personal journeys with her personally, and then they took that and wrote a story about it.
Absolutely.
I've heard Brittany Griner, I think it was a few years ago before that.
Because she played against her, correct?
Well, no, she was her coach in Baylor. She was a college coach at Baylor. Brittany Griner was in Baylor. And she said that towards the end of her career, majority of it, like, dealing with Coach Kim, it was very toxic. Because, again, she wasn't allowed to say that she was gay. It wasn't allowed. One, Baylor's a private school, so that in itself, it's already perception. But it's like she wasn't allowed to be herself while as a student athlete there, because Coach was against that type of scenario. So hearing when y'all shared that post, I wasn't surprised that more players, outside of it being gay, just the way that she treats her players and talks to her players. I'm like, it's not surprising because it's not the first time that I've heard it. It's just, I'm just surprised that it took this long for somebody to write something about it.
Well, this piece took 2
years
years
to come out. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, it took 2 years start to finish. And so Kim had recently come out and started. And here's the thing that I didn't really understand, and this is when I started to feel off-putting about Kim's backup defense, was that she started to complain that the individuals were attempting to talk to her now while they were in the tournament. Well, it's very well documented that this story was being written for almost 2 years. So what happens is you dodged the bullet for 2 years, and then the deadline hit, and it's, okay, you had your chance, and now I'm going to write this, and then you run off and scream what you scream. And it's even leaking into the locker room as much as you don't want to hear it.
You know
what the confusing thing,
like, right? Bobby Knight all over again.
Bobby Knight all over again, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just less physical abuse.
Just less physical abuse
this time.
Well, and it's confusing to hear the LSU locker room, instead of either saying nothing or defending, more on the attack, calling everyone who's pointing at them racist, or they don't know what they're talking about, or they're evil.
Listen,
yada, yada.
we've heard your coach's press conferences. We're well aware of what she has said and what she can say.
She's the person who shows you who to fight, not tells you not to fight. That's who Kim is. Who cares?
Like
Who at this point? But now, arguably though, inside the story, there are some significant pieces on the gay and the individuals of color side that I do feel deserve to be brought into attention. Now, if there's here's me, not allowed to say this often, but if there's some god-awful perfect excuse, just like Shohei and his gambling with baseball, that comes off from this, then what does that say about all y'all out there? Because that's weird to me.
Well, hopefully that gets brought to the attention. Hopefully that's the best part that comes out of this, is people's eyes get opened up to the whole fact that what's really going on behind the scenes.
Because if these individuals are being forced, and it's always a small few, we get that, but
doesn't matter.
We can pull out a list here. I don't want to start drawing webs to anything that involved Penn State, but there's always just a small few, right? It doesn't mean their stories don't deserve to be told or heard. Now, again, though, on the flip side, if this is just an evil hit piece, good on Kim, PR.
So my question to, I guess, I'm not trying to make it bigger than what it is. With this coming, this isn't something new in certain high-profile get, thrown out to the fires for being a little too aggressive with their players and whatnot. Like, it's your head coaches. You're dealing with a bunch of egos. There's only so much shit as a human being you can take it, especially dealing with college people. Some of these fuckers are in shit. How much light does that really shed on this style of coaching? And is it going to be checked at any point in time in the future with other coaches? And does this allow other students to be like, shit, I remember when I was in college, same shit. Does it start another domino effect in college sports with how coaches are dealing with student athletes and with their mentors? Because these kids.
But here's the thing. I don't know about you. I know you probably feel as passionate about this as I do. I don't want those coaches coaching my kid or your kid or his kid either. I don't care who they are. If that's the person they are as a human being, I don't want them around my kids.
There's a right way to do it. There's a right way to do it.
I get that you have to be intentional with these kids. Some of these kids need that guidance. I get it. Hard love. I get that. And as a coach, because you're dealing with these kids, majority of the whole year, especially when it comes to like football and basketball, the longevity of the season, you're with these kids more than sometimes their parents 9 times out of 10 throughout their college career. You want to leave a long-lasting impression, but to the point where are you mentally breaking it down to the point they don't even want to play the sport anymore? Especially if this going to open up a Pandora's box of former student athletes opening up about their college experience with certain coaches and what high-level coaches do into the spotlight and thrown to the pasture like, hey, you can't do this anymore. Yeah. Like this. And this is just throwing shade at Nick Saban, but did he get out at the right time? Because again, Nick Saban can be aggressive as well when it comes to his coaching.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think he saw a lot of things changing in the landscape of football and athletics.
And so he walked away.
Period. Yeah.
Well, and something Nick Saban did say that stuck with me heavily was his way wasn't enough anymore. It was his way plus money.
Well, come on now. Like they weren't paying players at Alabama. There's been scandals forever.
I understand. Yeah, absolutely.
I know, but for him to say that is a laugh. It's laughing.
This opened Pandora's box.
Yeah, it did. I'm telling you, it ruined the greatest athletic farm system. I mean, in my opinion.
We all knew it was inevitable, so it doesn't matter what we.
My major concern at this point, I can F off all the money. Every time something suspicious happens now, it's no longer in my mind, oh, this is fixed. Now this is gambling.
How bad
follow the money. It's always been follow the money.
Yeah, this is gambling. It's not, oh yeah, this is fixed. Oh, this
Once
is rigged.
It became a normal thing to gamble on sports, to bet on every level of sports, college, pro, whatever. And it's the most simplest bet. Who's going to score the first shot? Which is it going to be heads or tails at the Super Bowl coin flip? When you introduce level of gambling details and made it okay, you open the door that's allowing people to be like, game great. Because at the end of the day, we're all fans. And we've been watching these games all our lives. Whether it's one sport, most sports, whatever. Sport that you watch, you've been watching it, been a part of it in some way or form as a child and as an adult. And you can see what you go to and shit is just not being called. And it's blatantly in your face. And it's like you expect us as fans to just be like, no, there's something going on behind the back curtains. And we're going to catch on at some point. Somebody's going to have to come out and be like,
no.
But how long is that going to take? I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, they're wiping this Shohei Ohtani thing under the carpet. We're running up on time here, so I want to leave our listeners with a little gift for our next episode coming up.
You like this, Paul?
Oh, I don't know if it's what you think it is. This is something completely off topic.
Oh, you didn't mention it. Come on, you didn't mention it.
What was it?
Your apology for.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go with that, and then I'll go into the other one. Yes, real quick.
Yeah, you're gonna like this one.
This is a hot minute.
You're gonna like this.
Listen, I got to apologize. I got to apologize to the listeners. I am so sorry. I don't know how it happened, but when I told you that Draymond Green changed, I lied to you. I came on the air and blatantly lied to all of you as if I don't care about you, and that could not be further from the truth. And I know it'll be hard to believe me because I've lied once. And now, anything I say from that moment from now could be a lie. But understand that I will do absolutely everything I can to ensure that something as heinous as that lie I said about Draymond Green being a changed person will never happen again.
Because he kicked the dude in the balls. He kicked the dude in the nuts.
He's that
All right,
guy.
come on, just say it. He kicked the dude right square in the old
so
cojones.
bad. It was so
And
bad.
then
It started off so
way he had Patty Mills, Draymond Green needs to be stopped.
And then to go on the podcast and be like, yeah, that was totally unacceptable. I deserved what I got. Well, dude, I laughed my ass off when it happened, and underneath the screen it said, Draymond Green served a 16-game indefinite suspension. I don't think the motherfuckers understand the definition of indefinite as it is read or written via the damn dictionary.
And I would feel like if you're giving
Well, it's never been that way with
sports. I feel like
sports.
it's going to be like, I hear you, but if I hear indefinite suspension, I'm thinking at least the whole regular season.
I'm way old school. You gone.
Well,
You're
yeah, but
only
it's
gone
never,
for 2
never
weeks.
been that way in sports, though.
16
You were
fucking
gone for
games.
2 weeks.
And the Golden State Warriors lost, and you had to bring Draymond back to make it interesting.
So what's the deal? Is he?
How can the biggest NBA market team not be in at least a playoff?
Did he violate his? Was he under some kind of like probation thing
I
still?
don't think so.
No.
I would assume he violated.
Nothing.
He had to have violated
No,
something.
bro. Nothing.
I don't know.
Well, they sent him. They sent him to get fixed, and he's still broken.
And
So
the only way he could come
Adam
back,
Silver needs to go back.
the only way Draymond could come back is if he proved that he was better.
Well, he clearly. All right. Well, alcoholic. Go ahead and say it. Here you go. You go to say that I go to rehab, and I go and back to my job, and they're like, "You, sir, no more booze for you, or you get kicked off the team, which is my employer, my work." And then this guy goes out and they say, "Hey, you've got an anger problem. Guess what? No fighting for you." No.
Yeah, but he
Go get
shows up
fixed.
5 minutes early and unlocks the door for everyone. So
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, he tricked us, Charles. He tricked all of us. He went like
and
this.
again, I'm so sorry.
He's the wolf in sheep clothing.
He could be.
I truly is. You're gonna need to get your Tamiflus out when you're effing with me, because
No,
I'm
if you're-
walking around with a
If you're
sheet.
going up against him, make sure you bring the nut cups and the tampons, because he's gonna make them boys hurt. Hey, guess what? We found your nuts. They're on the ground.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm gonna get this right. All right. So if you now here, this is gonna give us a little excitement for the next episode. We're gonna break down some things. But okay, so if you take $1 bill and you break that dollar bill up into change, you can create two 50-cent stacks.
Yes.
Now, if you remove 3 quarters and place them in a square, you'll have 4 quarters in a square. And with those 4 quarters, you'll have the same number of touchdowns returned last season in the NFL. And that's why they're changing the kick rules, which we will talk about next week. We love you all so very much. Thank you all so much for listening, clicking, liking, and subscribing. Please continue to share, comment. I know we said we were going to get the mug out. I'm so sorry. We'll do something. Oh, here's the sheep clothing again. I believe that's coming in the next 24-hour period, though, so don't worry about this.
We can get that mug out tomorrow. Let's get that mug out tomorrow.
We'll get that mug out tomorrow. So it's in the next 24-hour period. We love you so much. Thank you for being you. The world's a much better place with you in it. Smile more. Don't forget to check...